everyone involved. 7 eliminations, Bacon time 7 as well right now.
Oh, full out 4v4 now. Alpha 7 and Vampire. Alpha 7 usually wins these, but we'll see how Vampire mounts this defense.
Revo forwards actually getting burnt down. Just stays in the Molotov. Not a good idea. Bad for their health. Mythic falls as well. There is no straight up fight because it's just being curtailed by nades, by Molotovs. Drops one up over the wall as well.
I like that.
Really nice underarm there to just keep them away from it and force them into the sightlines of You-Do Alliance. Mafioso will be backed off. Jimmy spotted out as well, handled by Skylight Gaming. That's going to bring Nova down to their duo. But again, it's that fearsome duo that everyone's going to be scared of.
As scary as they are, they're next to a 4-man team of HVVP. I think a 4-man team of HVVP is a little bit scarier than the legendary duo of Order and Parablade. But HVVP, they got to push into power, and this could be a great third-party opportunity for the dynamic duo. And they are pushing in. Meanwhile, Fireflux is pushing in on the other side, and it is all-out chaos. And they're gone.
What? Hang on a minute. How did that turn around? HVVP are eliminated. Fireflux are out as well. All in the melee of it. I didn't even catch how any of that happened. But Paraboy and Order, they do move in for a third party. 10 eliminations for Bacon time in the meantime. All 4 of them alive, and they are looking to capitalize on a strong game with another big performance here. 9 teams remain. They're all 4 alive. 10 eliminations is huge. Paraboy caught, nade in hand, and that's bad for business.
Oh, that was Bacon time, that push. I thought that was Power that was doing... This is that urban chaos. We have the names right in front of our faces, and I still can't keep up with what just happened. So that is Bacon time up to 12. Power with the crazy defense. I think maybe HVVP got third party from distance, like crossing that road. Always difficult to do. I didn't see a lot of smokes, so that might have been their demise. And Alpha 7 also goes down. Vampire Esports mounts a good defense with the help of You-Do Alliance from distance.
Down 1. Still fighting out. They're really central on this circle. The buildings that they have, solid. Zone 7 moving into Zone 8. Vampire, still all 4 of them up. You-Do Alliance suffering from the high ground. Nobody going to be able to get back on up there. So now it's all about building cover.
You-Do Alliance makes it down from that high ground, but they're now only down to 1 member. Everyone else I think everyone else is fully in the zone. Bacon time with 4 players. Bacon time playing like what we expected HVVP to be able to do in the urban environment with 4 up, but yeah, it is actually Bacon time with the most amount of cohesion, running it through everybody. 14 eliminations. This could be a record for this week if they pick up a few more, or is 14 already the record?
I have to go back and double check, but it's certainly going to be up there if they're able to claim this chicken dinner, because there are still some formidable foes in their way. And once these things start to clear up, it becomes a little bit harder just to leverage position exclusively. Good news is they will open up the cannons yet again, find yet another knock. Shirty moving into position, does get spotted from the high ground. Mafia Boy from behind that pickup over there, over the ridgeline. Will be looking for suppressing position, but won't be able to find it. Noise does get down, does get knocked. As Vampire try and swing in as well towards this engagement.
There we go, another opening for Bacon time, and they will take control of the warehouse. Probably will even be able to get the revive. Also in the zone, I do believe, on that northeastern edge. Bacon time should be up to 4 as one of them gets play zone. Mafia Boy, last one up for Skylights. Smack in the middle between Vampire and Bacon time. He might just elect to play it quiet now.
Noise does fall in the end, so Bacon time at 3. 16 eliminations, though. I'd be surprised if anyone's going to be able to top that. Ravenclaw swinging out, has to dip potentially into the blue with just a sliver of HP for Vampire. Does hit the deck, might have an opportunity to heal. All 4 of them are there, but in comes the cavalry. They need to get these vehicles. They need to get this crash onto down 1.
Damwon holding down the fortress in the center of zone, and that is it. This is the final circle. It is just going to shrink towards the middle with Damwon Gaming holding probably the last bit of hard cover. Once the circle shrinks fully and USG making a desperate attempt to cross that road with the vehicles, they will lose one, and Bacon Time pressing on in with their 3 players. USG Donuts now down to 1.
Damn one holding, but in comes the crash. Vampire knew what they needed to do. They're up there. 3 players are in now. 1 player still at the backstop for Vampire, watching those windows, calling out rotations. And then marshalling those forces up the top. They do manage to spot Mafia Boy and bring us down to 4 teams total. Damn one still on the inside, no one really challenging. Ravenclaw mounts up into the buggy. Olio has that angle, but not going to be able to leverage it. Sung pops a nade out the window, wants to find a knock, but not going to be able to get it done. The return knock over on towards Udo Alliance brings us to 3 as Bacon Time roll up into this as well.
Oh my gosh. The crazy thing is they don't need control of this compound. The center of the zone is going to be away from it, and oh no, a team nade.
That's going to ruin the day of Bacon Time. They're on 2 players now, and up the top, Schweppes finds another, leaving them just 1 active. It's disastrous to get that sort of a nade happen. Shirty now left last standing for the squad. They've been brutal so far, but they might be drawn short here. Instead,
oh my god,
and down one.
Oh my god,
back and forth, down one moving as a unit, but they left some behind. They're trading it off 1-on-1. Shirty's in there. He's lighting them all up. They're all worried about each other, but they should be worried about Shirty. He's shutting it all out, and he is going to hold the up. Oh, dealt with. 1 versus 1. Oh, is there, and he takes it. Vampire, bring it back. It's back and forth. It's crazy. It's wild, but in the end, the Vampires weather the day.
भाई साहब, वो भाई गंदा तरीके से मारा है.
Holy smokes! Can we get a slow-mo of the last minute of that fight? That also, by the way, that guy jumped off the roof and hip-fired, headshotted the Bacon Time guy. He thought he probably had it, getting the ultimate third-party chicken dinner win in, and then boop, headshot, and Vamp. That was crazy. Did you see how Damwon Gaming grouped up as 4 and all exited out the backside and tried to do like a beeline, and then Vampire over the top just all jumped off on top? That was absolute wild.
That was absolutely crazy. What a way to finish that out. Down one getting in there late. Vampire taking a big chicken dinner, standing up a little bit taller than we've seen so far from this tournament. This is really good news for that squad, for the roster. Only having a 2nd place so far, so getting that top chicken dinner is going to be really, really good news for them.
Also, Bacon Time with like, what, 16 plus eliminations. That's a huge amount of points for them as well. But I think the overall winner is kind of, sure, Vampire won, but as far as leaderboards go, this is a huge game for Damwon, because the teams ahead of Damwon Gaming didn't do as good as them.
Oh, it seems like, well, HVVP got cut down early on the northern side on a difficult set of pushes, trying to move past Power, got caught as well. I mean, it was very, very tricky for them. Damwon had that center position, and they played it very, very well. I think they went, I don't know if they went down 2nd or 3rd. I could not tell you at this stage, but Damwon, they rack up a lot of points for that central position. HVVP, they go down early so they can close that gap, but Vampire finally finding their feet here.
Tim देखियो पाउन्ड रंगने
You got vampires flying, Evo sliding, and Bacon is timing. This is getting absolutely insane. In 1st place, Bacon Time with 27 total points. But with the chicken dinner from Vampire Esports, absolute madness here. at the end here of day 2-7.
কিন্তু থার্ড
It
প্লেস
is, even though they didn't get the chicken dinner, guess what? 27 points for them. It's going to be massive. Remember, this was a team that we had a lot of question marks in regards to what had happened there at the end of day one. But hey, great performance here. Vampire Esports, though, we got to give them some props too there with the total of 26 points. And here we go. Top performers. Shirty, 7 eliminations, 11, almost 1,200 damage. You know what? I'm just going to give it to you, and then you can see Fluke. And I was just like Sute Glitter. Once I saw the Vampire Esports player just jump out and fire a headshot one of the Bacon Time players, I was like, oh, wow. Okay, this is one of the craziest finishes we have seen all year.
Listen, it was just pure chaos, which I feel like is always a really good indicator of the communication level of whoever's left up on the remaining squads, as well as the composure under pressure, because you talked about it before. The lack of or presence of previous global experience actually plays huge as we take a look at the overall rankings here. First of all, DWG, massive points for them, keeping themselves in second place, but tied now for third and fourth between Bacon Time and Vampire Esports above Nova? Are you kidding me?
Look from third place to 8th place. They're all separated by just 6 points, and we have 4 teams that are tied technically. Bacon Time making the push at the beginning of the day. They were in 14th place, now in top 3. This is more like it. This is the performance that we were expecting out of them. And then some of these teams, I mean, we talked about Bacon Time. We did talk about Evos at the beginning of the show. Evos is having an absolutely awful day, and I'm hoping that here in the last match coming up, Glitter, they can hopefully turn it around.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I need to say that maybe I am an agent of chaos. We are doing, obviously, Aaron go for our last match, but when we were talking about teams to watch, Jukes, I had picked Bacon and Damwon as 2 of my 3 teams. And I was pleasantly surprised with that ending.
You nailed it. You nailed it. I mean, Bacon Time almost got back-to-back chicken dinners there. I mean, they might as well have, because they got the most points with an insane amount of eliminations. Let's take a look at the top Aaron Gale performers so we can see who is looking most likely. And man, of course, Damwon and Bacon Time, we would see them up here, because I mean, they have just popped off here in the latter stage here of day 2-7.
Yeah, they have. And with Damwon Kia, that's actually, this is going to be playing in their favor. And I'm wondering if HVVP is going to be running into Nova again. I mean, these 2 teams, it's pretty much guaranteed that they're going to be colliding against each other every single match. And so far, HVVP does end up taking the advantage of Nova. They always end up knocking at least a player of Nova and slowing them down. I'm telling you, they had to look at how they were playing. They had to just do so much VOD review because they know exactly what Nova's going to be doing.
100%, 100%. I mean, that's what happens when you are the previous champions here of the PUBG Mobile Global Championships.
Yeah,
Back-to-back champions. Yeah, talk about a target on their back. That is all their back is a target. So you know people were studying them, because at the end of the day, when you want to be great, you always have to study greatness. And that is the team that all these players have been watching. So they know every move that they're doing. And speaking of watching teams, you know, let's see what y'all's team to watch are for this final match. I'm seeing a lot of similarities there. You know, we got Nova, Alpha 7 from both sides, and then Bacon Time and Damwon Gaming. I love these picks.
You know what, Glitter? I'll let you start first.
Okay, well, we had to pick Nova, all right? Yes. I mean, they are somehow not in the top 3 right now. Heading into the final match of today, definitely not where they want to be. And even when we saw the top performers, they weren't in there right now. It was pretty much everybody else that we've talked about up here on our teams to watch that was in that spot. So I think Nova is probably going to be looking for a little bit of a bounce back. Obviously, Alpha 7 as well. 7. Would you like to cover them? Should I let you break them down?
Bring it my way. Okay, I got to talk about Brazil, the Brazilian squad, because, I mean, they're also not performing today. They, too, we're getting a lot of surprises, right, along the lines of what you were saying with Nova. This team is not anymore close to, I guess, in a way, close to top 3. They are currently sitting in that 7th spot, and now they're finding themselves in this group that is just so close to each other that anything can happen, and I'm pretty sure that's going to be scaring them a lot. And then we go towards Bacon Time. team
Lumrah
that
ako
has
na.
been able to just
Jab ako
fully
dun
turn it around today. Yes, I know they got a chicken dinner yesterday, but the whole performance yesterday was not the best. So far today, they are the best performing team besides HBVP, and HBVP has slowed down a little bit more. So another team I want to keep an eye on is going to be Damwon Kia, because
Yes,
that
my
team is taking advantage of a lot of stuff. Once they see HBVP ends up getting eliminated early on, they're taking advantage of that by being able to get more eliminations and making sure their average survival time goes even higher to secure those placement points.
David going nuts, man. I mean, it's absolute craziness. Pandemonium here. You can see these players getting ready for the last match here. Talking about some strategies. Like, yeah, man, I think we should go this way. We should go that way. The other one's like, nope, I think we should turn the fan on. The other one's like, nope, I like it low. Yeah, and they came to an agreement right there. That's what's good to see here. It's good teamwork. Good teamwork here at the end of the day.
I didn't know you could read lips like that. That's impressive.
I can. And right now, okay, he's thinking, he's looking at his teammate saying, dude, you gotta do more. That's what he was thinking right there. You can see that. And then over here, you do Alliance, feeling great.
Are they though? Are they? You know what they're saying right now?
Really happy.
We are in 13th place. If this was to end right now, we're going to be going home, boys. That's why he keeps looking at the camera. He's like, no more finger hearts. And then we go to Knights. And Knights is currently struggling. And something that Glitter actually brought up. I wonder if, I mean, a lot of this, especially for Coops, right? This is going to be his first global tournament. I wonder how much that's actually putting pressure on him.
Oh, man, as big pressure as it possibly can be. All right, let's look at it. Let's go from Vampire right there. And, oh, Tensa, open them eyes, buddy. Get ready, because the last match is about to start. Let's take it on over to our casters.
Thank you very much, Hot Jukes. I mean, yeah, maybe if Tensa had opened his eyes in the previous games, the Pittsburgh Knights would be 15th place right now. But you know what? Maybe they can learn from that.
Yeah, or he's pulling a Paraboy. You know what I see Paraboy doing a lot right before matches start. Seat fully reclined, trying to get a quick nap in. So, I don't know. Different players have different pre-game rituals. So, obviously, whatever the Knights are doing is not working. They could be soon finding themselves eliminated, you know? I mean, we're not even halfway yet, though, right? We still got this one last game, but the pacing at which the Knights are playing is just not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely agree. They don't seem to be, I guess, making the right decisions. We've seen them be successful in firefights, but they're losing maybe a little bit too much, potentially over-committing to the engagements. I mean, the big example for me is that engagement to the west side of prison on the watchtower against Nova, right? They won that engagement, but they spent 2 of their players in order to win that fight, right? They didn't need to necessarily fully engage on that. Of course, it was a difficult decision. There weren't too many options, but still, losing 2 players, they needed to maybe stay a little bit closer together, and they could have had a little bit of a better time. And it feels like they are just getting picked apart in these fights. They are powerful, sure, but they are just getting picked apart.
I think it's also definitely the games, right? Like, this LAN is just a different environment. And as far as the, Asia teams go, like, just towards the eastern side of the world, they have a chance and an opportunity to play, like, more LANs than North America does. So it's like, maybe it's just the LAN experience really coming into play here. And I can see the Knights being a team that gets nervous, because all throughout the couple of years, North America has struggled, and everyone says this is the best iteration of a team in North America, like the super team finally coming out of North America. So there's also that added pressure, and with all these factors combined, I think that definitely has a huge thing to do with the Knights.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. There are less LAN opportunities, but then how do you explain HVVP? You know, I mean,
they've been to LAN so many times just because they're that good.
That is true. That is true. I mean, if you're just really good, then I suppose it does work. Does work in your favor. Speaking of, Alpha 7 going to be hot dropping them in North George. Well, I mean, say hot drop. We had this before, where Alpha 7 and HVP shared North George, right?
Yeah, they'll just end up sharing it. Hot drop wise, look at the south though, off that plane path.
Yeah.
That's 3 teams. That's Vacant Time, Star Wars Esports, and Inco. There's a potential. There's definitely some contention. Right? Military base, maybe you can fit 2 teams, but there's 3 teams dropping onto military base, so there might be some fighting going on there in a little bit.
Yeah, you can hold one definitely in the military base, one team in Novo at least. There is potential for trash loot, I suppose, around the south
That
side
is
of
true.
the island.
Yeah, I didn't
and I feel
count
like that's.
Novo.
Yeah, I guess.
Right.
I guess there's the opportunity for Inco to go for that trash loot. It looks like Godlike Stalwart might break out for the Novo drop. Given the circle, it's viable. That eastern bridge definitely open for a late rotate. Or a mid-game rotate.
Yeah, first circle is like 70-80% main island, and then 20% is on the military base. It shouldn't really impact things. Oh, taking a look at everything. Everything's pretty standard this time around, right? No crazy first circle. Plane path was definitely more on the western side, but with the circle being east, that gives everybody an opportunity on the west to rotate in early enough because they're the first to loot. So all things considered, quite a balanced start to this last match of the day.
You see, Down1 actually have the highest eliminations on Eranga with 33. Ahead of HVVP by 2. Both of those teams, by the way, sit way ahead of the rest of the pack on like 22, I think was the next highest. But it's interesting that Down1 actually do have that, and it reigns back into what they were saying over on the desk, and what we were saying as well, is that yesterday the majority, almost the entirety of Down1's points came from Erangel. Their other maps just not up to snuff. And what we've seen today is the fact that they can play on other maps. They've managed to rack up a couple points there, and they have stood a little bit taller than we've seen, and their shadow stretches further as well.
Yeah, that top 5 definitely changing up a little bit. Alpha 7 and STE no longer in that top 5. And it's actually Bacon Time and Vampire. So it is, like you said, from week 1, things can change quite a lot and quite quickly from game to game, and we're starting to see that now. Damwon Gaming sitting at 2nd. HVVP, do you think, John, I'm going to ask you this question. It's going to be a tough one. Do you think HVVP will be first place at the end of the week?
I think that is a very interesting question. I think it's a difficult question, but my gut instinct is yes. I think that this is a team that has shown enough consistency over the course of this tournament, showing that they can do it. And in general, when they get on a run, they don't stop until there's like a break in play. So day on day, it seems like they keep on steaming. From my previous experience with this roster, HVVP and formerly of Na'Vi, they are on fire here, quite frankly. And I mean, you know, sure, we're saying, oh, last game wasn't as good, but they've had 2 third places today. 8 eliminations, 9 eliminations, a 5th place, 5 eliminations. Like, they're still here. Even their bad games are good games. It's all contrast. And this is a team that I don't see at the moment anyone really standing up to. The closest, of course, looking to be Down1 on the overall rankings, and even then, they're sat, what, 24 points behind? And at this stage, halfway mark, that's a really significant barrier. And I don't see HVVP slowing down anytime soon.
That's true. And then I just feel like no other teams have that. Outside of Nova, I would say, they don't have that, like, scary clutch potential. Like HVVP, put them in a very difficult situation, and there's a chance they might just rip that apart and just absolutely dominate. But Damwon, they're a really strong team, don't get me wrong. They play very well, very textbook, but I have yet to see like like this team is scary moment type of thing, right? And Nova, I mean, they're the back-to-back. So I would say Nova is another team that has that scary potential to just shoot up. But yeah, HVVP, if I had to put a percentage of confidence in them taking first, I would put my percentage around like 70 to 75%. Yeah. I don't know about you, but that's a really high percentage, and confident enough that HVP will remain in first by the end of the week.
That's a very, very confident prediction. I mean, that's
pretty high up there.
I kind of agree with you. I would say I give it right now about a 40 to 50%.
40 to 50.
I'm at that level. I know how these tournaments can change super fast. If HVVP, it's unlikely in my mind, have a bad day, there's a chance that Down will have a great day, Nova have a great day, even like godlike Stalwart, right, have a great day, and they could challenge
Or make it time.
these spots. Right, exactly. So we've got a lot of teams that could, or any other team.
Watch Bacon Time be first place at the end of the week.
Hell yeah. I mean, that would be quite the turn up, right? From top to bottom to top. That would be quite the yo-yo. But, I mean, I've been a fan of HVVP from all of the impact they were able to have back over in Western Europe and then over in the European Championship as well, beating out Mad Bulls, who were ostensibly a favorite.
Such a star-studded roster. We saw just a few minutes ago that team contribution breakdown takes you up to like 26 eliminations. Absolutely mad lad of a player. But okay, rotations are starting to head in. We're 7 minutes in. We see a lot of teams starting to posture up near the center of zone. One of them definitely being Nova. And once again, HVVP rotate up to the northern side and will work down from the north end. Very standard things out of HVVP. There is Alpha 7 though following behind them, so might see a fight between those two further down.
You were talking about other teams that kind of have that clutch factor, and I feel like Alpha 7 might be on that list, but today, haven't quite seen it as much, right?
Yeah, Alpha 7, yeah, they have that scary team potential for sure. If I were to rerun things, it would be HVVP, Nova, and Alpha 7, and Stalwarts if they could get their things together. Because I've seen Stalwarts in other tournaments look very scary. This time around, I mean, they've had great games, but it wasn't like scary performance pop off like, wow, this is Stalwarts esports. It was more like, okay, they played it well given the zones and they got the chicken dinner. Right, I have yet to see that scary Stalwarts that I have seen before.
That's what you need in this sort of scenario. Big shift
fight.
coming on through.
HVVP and Alpha 7.
It looks like HVVP going to open up well onto this engagement. Alpha 7 go across the bridge and run into a brick wall from the south side near Yasna. They're not even going to stick around. HVVP, they've sent the message. They're just going to leave it. Hang on a minute. There's a PS. Postscript coming through from Tixi. A couple more bullets just to let them know who's in there.
A quick readjustment to just start pinning them in immediately, right? Tixi goes over, and then we see the rest of them rotating back up around the Knights, and Nova getting into fight. Xenox on fire, not in the way that you want to be on fire, but that's going to be enough. The cover fire will push the Nova team away, and they will disengage from that. And that's a smart disengagement as Power full sending into 1 million, and that is 1 million down to one player.
And they're not even in the same location. You can see they're just sending over to the north side. They've been spotted as well. Senke, the last player for 1 million, into the shack. Wants to pop some of those stims and get back to as much health as possible. Important now, the survival of 1 million in the final game of the day. 16 teams remain, but it was too close for comfort to bring that down to 15. Teams from the military island have started to leave. Godlike Stalwart are now up near Milta. Only Inco remain on that military island near that Novo position.
Yeah, we see this sudden burst in chaos because the circle had just shifted. So the fight that Nova was taking, they're going to give up because they want the better position in the circle. They did lose Paraboy, unfortunately. And I'm looking at my mini-map. It looks like HVVP did try to do some type of pincer movement onto Alpha 7. Alpha 7 being resilient will deter HVVP, and they're going to prioritize that new zone instead. And uh-oh, Matic actually going down here. HVVP down to 3.
Donuts USG lose missile. The scopes of Meku. I mean, they might be down to 3, but you might as well leave them at 4. It's kind of the same thing when they're still bulldozing from one side. Hopefully they can keep it on going, bringing Donuts USG down low. They're lobbing in the ordnance as well. Kitsune up the top. Spotted, not knocked though. Zozi-san has to back off there. Tixi repositioned around on the outside. And this is a really open area once you have that position at the back. Look at how Tixi moves around for this. HVVP, they're not going aggressive. They're penning them in. And if Tixi can mount up, this is broadside. This is open season.
This is textbook play right now. If a team is trapped in there, these are the angles you take to get the next opening before you crunch in. They do have to worry about third parties, though, because they're kind of close to the center of zone, and if they attract too much attention, you should think better. Yeah, Tixie goes there for just a couple of moments, and his new zone's about to shift, so he's going to think better of it and just rotate back. That's really good discipline out of Tixie.
They get the drop as well, right on top of the HVVP position in the north side. Alpha 7 still near Yasnaya Poliana in the north. We'll have to move down south, so potential for a rematch between these two rosters and on the even numbers as well. Maybe Alpha 7 can make that one go differently.
Nova once again back at these shelter bunkers. This is a position that they often play, they really like. But there is Bacon Time here as well. Bacon Time doing a 2-2 split. 2 at the shelter bunkers, and then 2 further north at that one compound that we saw USG Donuts hold in the previous Erangel game. As far as the circle goes, though, there's still a lot of playable areas, a lot of big dips, a lot of power positions. Might see a lot of teams come in here still keeping their team up on full power before anybody goes down until the next circle shift.
Inco, 4 players, east side. Fireflux, 4 players as well. West side currently going to be in a little bit of danger from Pittsburgh Knights. Although if their past performances are anything to go by, that's not much danger.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm going to flame them. I mean, they're 15th place. Do better, I won't flame you, you know?
Yeah, and they got Udo Alliance right behind them too. Yep, Coops now gets shot at, and yeah, it's not good. This edge play out of the Knights, it's like, if you want to do the edge play, you got to do it the way that, you know, HVVP does it. They clear out their entire backfill side before even looking forwards for a fight. This is costing them. Knights will go down 1 player, but there's a return fire, and Xenox almost goes down. It is crucial that he does not go down here. Knights need, and I think this is a full disengage now. Knights cannot recover this fight anymore.
It should be. It should be. Just try and stay alive. Actually, funny enough, while you were talking about how HVVP do it, remember they didn't take down Alpha 7, and Meku just went down to that backfill from Alpha 7. So HVVP, not doing the HVVP thing, has punished them.
Yeah, I see that now. I mean, they tried though, right? They went back to try and take out Alpha 7, but they couldn't. But lo and behold, right, it comes back and quite literally bites them back in the butt.
Not great news, but Pittsburgh Knights down to 2, HVVP also down to 2. Lessons to be learned potentially, both at the bottom and the top of the tables. On these scrambles for the northeast side. A lot of cover in this circle, so a lot of teams just finding these divots.
Oh, look at that Nova split. These guys just...
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Jimmy is on a mad one today. Let's go.
Jimmy's like, you guys smell today. I'm going to go play by myself. But new circle, I think Jimmy should yeah, okay, there we go. Jimmy decides better. Okay, it's like, maybe I'll go back to that compound. That compound's definitely... I'm not going to say definitely will get smashed, because the surrounding area around that compound is also strong to play from. So teams might not necessarily elect to just full send it.
I was going to say, is Jimmy actually going to go back to the compound, or is he going to scout north across the road and just go for another wide split? We'll have to wait and see. In the meantime, the 2 players remaining for HVVP are up to bat against Alpha 7. 3 players there, moving on in. Kitsune and Tixie to go for the hold. Kitsune around the corner, looks for the drop shot, stands back up. That magazine is emptying quickly, and there's no crossfire there. Now Tixie wins out his one, but his teammate has failed to do so. Tixie now getting burnt away, has got the Groza, could do a lot of damage, but will be put back in place. Alpha 7 backfill on HVVP.
Nicely done. I think this game they're going to go back to the drawing boards to make sure they hurt Alpha 7 more than just taking down 1 player, so this does not happen again. I think this was a mistake that they kind of knew better than, right? This probably happened. They're like, oh, we knew we should have taken care of them, but they didn't. Meanwhile, everywhere else is mad. Chaos's teams are still trying to circle their way into the zone. Not much left to be able to play in terms of hard cover.
Down one have got a couple of buildings though. And with HVVP going down very early, that 24-point gap is looking a little bit more achievable. With the 2 eliminations, that will ramp up to 26. If we need a big chicken dinner, sure. but we've seen Down One be capable of that.
My 70-75% conviction has just dropped down a little bit, maybe down to 60 now.
Okay, he's still above me though.
Yeah, I mean, this was the first time. Ooh, nice shots by Solus, but I feel like this is the first time we saw HVVP make a clear mistake, right? That they should have known better. We even called it out before any fights happening. Alpha 7's following behind. They should watch out for it, and they kind of messed that up there.
And losing a player as well, that probably played into it a little bit. Leaving only Meku to go backwards, they didn't know where Alpha 7 had gone. They were trying to scout it, or I'm not entirely sure what they were thinking, really. But yeah, I think that is the HVVP misstep, and follow it up with a Udo Alliance misstep as well. 13th place team right now, getting cut apart by Down One.
Damwon closing that gap ever so slowly now, picking up those points. Damwon control, very strong compound as well. They have that hill to work with right in front of them, so even though they're on edge, they're pretty comfortable with the way the circle is.
Evos up the top, above on the shelter. Inko underneath. Both of them going to be firing out towards the northwest, and Evos aren't going to need to take care of Inko, so they kind of just have this turret underneath them that they can leverage.
And they can't get too aggressive. Careful. Nova picking a knock onto Stalwart's long range, and that is the last one of Udo Alliance gone. That's another point for Damwon Gaming, the second place team, and they got a clear line into Fireflux now for the next potential fight. And this is gonna get tricky. Nova sitting comfortable in the south. Alpha 7 wrapping around from the north, might wrap into Damwon Gaming.
See where they end up crashing. They are going to need to find a little bit of an opening there. Inko taking heavy nades actually coming through from Redface. Look at that, a reposition out wide to drop nades in the mouth of the bunker. Squash getting dropped down on these smokes are covering off from Godlike Stalwart, and they're constantly worried about that north side as well. And in go Evos. They're moving down, and it's mincemeat here in the shelter, but there is an answering volley coming through from Vitali. The last to fall. And the nade goes down. It's a vehicle to blow up, and Redface will be the only hard casualty here.
I thought that explosion might have just wiped out both teams. Look at how low Lyzerg is. One step closer, and both teams go out to that. That would have that would have been disastrous, but that would have been very entertaining for us.
Certainly would have been. Either way, Evos are going to have to regroup as fast as they can and move quickly. Skylights Gaming will know about this location. We saw those knocks coming through earlier from Godlike Stalwart. They don't have too many opportunities now.
Here comes a northwestern fight, a three-way fight between Damwon, Fireflux, and Alpha 7. Looks like Damwon's going to first pin down Alpha 7, or at least suppress them so they don't get sideswiped, which is a great idea. They could take their time here in order to pressure out other people so they could take that hard fight with Fireflux right in front of them. They'll actually pick up another point there onto Rebo.
Nice knock from Ketch down towards Sung from Damwon. Favian Forest looking to scramble for the res. The smoke has bloomed, and they'll move into position. In due course, Carrillo goes down to a nade from Favian, so they are still fighting out on this northwest side. Looks like that interview at the that we had earlier, Damwon fighting, really rang true. 4 eliminations so far, and they are, as you say, slowly racking up those points, getting into positions, but they do still need to keep it together.
Definitely so. I think everyone besides Damwon has made it into the zone. Damwon still has to push just a little bit. Will they go a little bit north into Alpha 7, or are they going to continue to try and straight shot it right into Fireflux? USG Donuts now getting into the mix of things, getting a massive nade onto Alpha 7, and Damwon's going to indeed shift to the north into not just Alpha 7, but now also the USG Donuts.
3 players alive for the Donuts USG team, 1 player alive for Alpha 7. Even though my guess against 4 players, Mythic does have that Groza though, so it could be pretty difficult to handle if they don't dispatch him early for Damwon. Will look to move through that north territory. Fireflux are getting picked apart a little bit, only Ketch players remaining now. Vampire on that west side as well. Got to remember what an impact they can have. But with the north shift, they are all going to have to swing in.
Oh, that left side. That left side's going to be rough. I feel like Nova might actually even swing to the left too, because just going straight in from their position, not much to work with. It'll be more of a YOLO, but if they swing up to the left, they can at least maybe work their way in. But there's so many teams here. They're trying to find Mythic. Mythic's got that Groza, like you said, and he will get caught. Damwon Gaming with 4 players still up. Damwon Gaming, okay, so I say they're not a scary team, but I think that's just because that's their playstyle. We saw, I think in the very first game of Erangel where they had 4 up, they could have elected to go hard, but they just play it slow and methodical. And even here, they're playing it very slow and methodical, even with 4, where they have the firepower to just absolutely rip teams, but they're going to do it patiently, and there goes Catch.
That was the most calm elimination of a squad I think I've ever seen. Traps just rolls it over, back tire, no business. Vampire, though, now playing a little bit further north and might put pressure onto Damwon's position. Be able to survive this one, but for the longest time he's been alone in the shack. How has he done this? Hang on a minute. There's been third parties all across the way. Finally, Senke falls, but the rest of Nova going low. Jimmy getting rezzed up, sure, but everybody knows Nova's here now. Vampire getting torn apart in the meantime. Power has started to move in. Damwon struggling against the Donuts USG roster. The back line is firing on all cylinders, though. Damwon want to keep this one going. 3 players are alive with the forward position severely diminished, really, at this stage. So, really their last hope. A nade out wide. Won't quite find the damage. Hosier close. Fabian dips around the rock, finds 2 and whacks them down. Oh, that is good stuff from Fabian to keep Damwon in the fight.
The left, the right, the shimmies outplaying him, using that hard cover beautifully. Damwon Gaming, okay. Looking, I take that back. They are kind of scary. Kind of scary. That individual play skill out of that player, very, very impressive, but it's not done yet. We still got so many teams. By the way, we have a 4-man team of Bacon Time just chilling in their ditch, yet to make a move, yet to have to strike. And the last time we saw them have to strike on that Miramar game, they picked up 17 eliminations. So they could potentially string together 2 chickens in a row.
I mean, look at this as well. Vampire Esports took the Miramar, so it'll be their goal in a row, but they've had 6 eliminations, and Bacon Time with the one before that, on the 1. I'm looking at Damwon with 9, only 2 players remaining though, but their north side position isn't terrible.
This could go any way right now, and Nova, they're just trying to stay alive. They got nades though, out on the Vampire team. Just one well-placed nade right into that shack, and
there it is.
Yep. There it is, done and dusted. Vampire take out Nova.
Another nade coming through from Nima over towards the shack, currently held by Power. Nades putting pressure onto the roster, but they're out the back of it. They're landing on the inside fairly well, but that one goes long and does a little bit more damage. Maybe they'll see where that one's going to fall. That's going to get the knock. Kante low as well. Nima puts one more in, maybe overexposing the Vampire, but hits the deck in time. Another knock over towards the Power roster, and the back flush is just going to run away. Kante wants nothing to do with that shack anymore.
There we go. Yeah, that's the right idea. If there's 1 nade, 2 nade, 3 nades, 4 nades, I think they're going to keep nading you. So you want to back up quite a little bit. So Kante will stay alive for a little while, but this is a 4-man team of Skylights that have yet to fight and come into the mix. They've been in that compound the whole time, and wow, nice shots from long range by Vampire.
Kante as well, holding his own around the rock, but can't quite hold on the rest of them. Mafia Boy did go down. After their bombardment, they just wanted to roll forwards into this next zone. Vampire swinging down towards the south, opens up a little bit more room for Damwon, but the road ahead of them will need to be crossed. Stoned nails the nade over onto the roadside.
That was a no-look nade. Didn't even see what's over that ridgeline and caught it in. Wait, what? Oh, Bacon Time! Here comes Bacon Time! Now Bacon Time strikes, and they pick up a double onto Vampire.
That is really good news for Bacon Time. The only 4-player roster now in operation. Can they be shut down? Can the teams from the south regroup, regather, gain momentum here? Because they do all have 4 players, but they need these reses to bring it back.
Definitely, I think Bacon Time's got clear sight lines on both Vampire and Skylights right now. Bacon Time have full control of the situation. Just look at that minimap, taking fights on all 3 fronts. If Damwon Gaming wants a piece, Bacon Time's got a good position to fight them as well.
Difficult road ahead of Down One right now. Literally, as they do have the road to cross. Sung spotted. That's kind of going to give the game an end, but with 9 eliminations, top 4 finish, this is going to put a really big dent in their second place chase.
At 60%, now down to 55%.
I'm operating at about a 35 to 40% situation here.
Let's see. Oh, Raven still managing to stay alive with all 4, but not the same could be said for Skylights. They are getting pieced apart.
Bacon Time do manage to find a Vampire back at full force, but immediately put them on the back foot yet again. They're not going to let this one go. They have control of the center circle. I think Bacon Time might be worried about the north side of the road. No, maybe not. Okay, yeah, they are going to trade out that way. Fabian goes down. 4th place, 9 limbs. A good game to finish Down One's half tournament. And this group green is looking good for them.
As much damage as Bacon Time has done, they have not confirmed any of their knocks yet. 4 still up for Skylights and 4 still up for Vampire. And another double knock. So many. This has to be a confirmation of some sort here.
Board is pretty low here out in the field, but stays on the decks, holds his nerve and shuts it down as well. Shirty felled. The crawl back from Skylights Gaming to keep them in this. Another nade over the top from Noise, lands right on the forward player. Excellent positioning, but Vampire now have an opportunity. They can start to move in with the numbers advantage. They're moving up to the road, the smokes are giving them cover. Ice is at the back for Bacon Time. He is still holding that back sight line, but they can challenge it. They can take effective trades when they're occupied so heavily with this squad down the hill. They've invested a lot, and now they need to regroup up the top, but Vampire have made that adjustment, made that move.
Oh my gosh, more revives coming out. They've only picked up 1 confirmation there that whole entire time. Another knock. This should be the nail in the coffin, but they have to be so careful because Vampire Time right around the edge, and Vampire Time making a move on the north side. They're going to swing and backfill this, John.
Oh, they go right around behind, but they're getting lit up. Down, and Orm Style with the UMP empties the mag into the Vampires. Only Ravenclaw remains now, but the rest of the team, they're fairly split. Bacon Time, if they lose their forward position, Vampire might strike with just Ravenclaw. It is 1 versus 2. They're looking for these reses potentially on the back foot. A lot of information being gathered. Noise is spotted. Dobson wide, but no, he just hits the deck behind the tree. Ravenclaw can't quite find that spot. And Orm Style looking to bring Isis back into the fold. A reposition there. Ravenclaw last to fall. And it is Bacon Time who get their revenge on Vampire Esports to get the final chicken dinner of today.
What? The last 2 games out of Bacon Time? Insane. By the way, I feel like they farmed more damage in the last minute than some entire games combined. They got a double knock onto Vampire, a double knock onto Skylights, full reset for both teams, another nade double knock, another double knock out on the road, like literally 20 seconds later, and I want to see the damage numbers. Like, it's, oh my gosh, what a huge game for not just Bacon Time, for Damwon, for Skylights, for Vampire as well. That was quite a game to end the day on.
I mean, actually, to be fair, for Vampire, it kind of sucks. They were tied at the start of this game for 3rd place with Bacon Time, right? They were tied on 96, and the fact that they won this now puts Bacon Time confirmed in that top 3. Damwon as well, being up late means that they can't even chase for the next goal on that engagement. I mean, yeah, it's slightly unfortunate, right?
Yeah, but by the way, that UMP taking down 3 members on that flank with the car. I mean, I think that was a play out of Vampire. I actually loved that play. They knew Bacon was preoccupied. That guy just did not miss.
No, every single shot, lined it up time after time after time. Vampire Esports, they made the best of a bad situation, but Bacon Time were just too vigilant. They end up with the final chicken dinner of the day and with a great shot at the top 3.
And I have officially dubbing today as Bacon Day. Extra crispy. 3 games in a row. Bacon time finish with the most points compared to any other squad. 26 more points to their total. Yeah, it proves, 7, Glitter, that the first day, second half, just a fluke. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I'm willing to say that too. I think it was a false alarm. That's exactly what it was. The performance this team has been able to put up, especially for the second half of today, has been absolutely insane. By Far Esports too, being able to put up 21 points there, then one Kia. I mean, we've been seeing it, what they've been able to do. And then for the players to watch here, you've seen it over and over again, Glitter. Tix is just doing work.
Honestly, all of HVVP just putting in all kinds of work. I mean, like you said, Tixie at the top with the elims and the damage, then Matic coming in with the assists. They might not have been our focus today because we were talking about a lot of the other teams that improved from day to day, but HVVP were still consistent, still had really good elim numbers, and they're just a dominating force right now, Jukes.
So dominating, in fact, that they are going to stay on top here after 2 days. But wow, Damn One Gaming in second place, Bacon Time in third. I mean, that just goes to show just kind of like how behind Bacon Time were yesterday, but they really kicked it up a notch here today.
With the performances that those two teams, Damn One Kia and then Bacon Time, been able to do, you can see we're finally starting to see a bit of a separation here when we actually look at 4th place, 5th place. So tomorrow, I'm expecting a lot of these teams to be able to wake up. Nova, especially, currently at 99 points. I'm pretty sure they're not going to be happy with their performance today. Another team is Alpha 7 Esports. And I got to give some love to Power Esports. I was honestly not expecting them to be here in the first stage with what we were able to see yesterday, but they were able to pick it up in a big way.
Not only that, but Skylight's gaming jump up, they weren't in the top 11 pretty much all day, literally all day, until this final game where they come up top 3 and get some more points on the board, jump up just inside of that bubble. Evos almost falls completely out of it, which is completely opposite of how they played yesterday. They are right on the cusp now, only by 6 points, and that's nothing in the grand scheme of things, Jukes. I mean, this is going to be a very close race.
Close race indeed, especially there at the top. And for the teams at the bottom, remember everybody watching, it's top 3 that get that guaranteed ticket to the big show. And those squads there on that second page, tomorrow they're going to have to bring some heat. But I mean, good luck, because you see squads like Bacon Time, right?